So I'm coming here to say, God created men and women, and we find He created us very differently. And I'm going to base this on Genesis 3. Verse 15 says, after Adam and Eve violated God, God said, and I will put enmity between you and the woman, talking to the snake, and between your offspring and hers. He will crush your head and you will strike his heel. Where we find ourselves right now is, this is spiritual warfare, people. We're looking at our country. I was saying to my children yesterday, I don't want to confess it, but evidence is there that we are losing our country to these people who have come and they are taking it over. The audacity they have. When you go, they look at you like this. You know, like you are some dirt. When you face them, and I think when they see the God character in your eyes, you see them shake. When you say, I go there and say, where's my son? No, where is my son? They will open and release them, whether he still owes them or not. That's something that's strong inside. And it's the God character in us, because we are gods with a small g. We are rulers. And yet we are sitting back, looking at these people taking our country and our little children. Let's do something about it. Young people, you are not cool, okay? You are not cool. You are not smart. Because you connive with the devil to take you away from us. Loving mothers, I mean, we lay our lives down for you. For a mother to go into a drug house, that I don't know what to call that. My husband has looked at me and said, they will kill you. I said, for a good cause. Because we need to make a statement. But let me talk to mothers. God has created men and women differently. Mothers are nurturers. We see something, we want to build something out of it. So you find our children cause fights in the home because the mother says, one more time. The father says, I'm done. The children study the situation and they play us. They are the master puppeteers. Have you seen a puppet show? This puppeteer is holding the dolls. They are dancing to his tune. That's what our addicted children are doing. They are the master puppeteers. Mom, dad, and the siblings are down there. They are playing to their tune. Now, example of the mother being a nurturer and the father being the provider. You find when they're still young, when the child cries, who runs? The mother. The mother can be sitting in church, the child cries outside, somebody says the child is crying, the mother goes, that's fine. But there's this cry. You run like you are mad, and people are like, and vrakdivar, the child is in trouble. So, you know, you can be in the home. I like to make this example. Maybe you've got money left. Mom and dad decide, hi man, this is change, let's spend it. You both go outside to spend this money, maybe to the mall. When you come back, yeah, what you have bought says a lot. As the mother, I'm saying, yo, with this change, you're my underwear. I get to Woolies, this side, this cute little techies, I buy. This side is my husband's scarf and cap, I buy. And I buy myself the last. When we reach home and we compare what we bought, I've bought for everybody, he's bought for himself. He's bought a belt and earphones. But for the mother, it's not like I don't know the value of money. I'm a nurturer. And that's what the drugs take advantage of. the natural in us. So much as we are talking about drugs, we're talking about drugs, but there are so many things to be addicted to. Gambling, pornography, shopping, sex, all of it. But I am glad when somebody said this is demonic. Let me just mention this. My son is addicted to drugs, but they are using him sexually. Do you understand? I'll come to it. But what is the definition of enabling? Why are we enabling our child? An enabler is a person that makes it easy for and helps the addict to continue using the drugs, whether you know it or not. A person that stands between an addict and his or her recovery and even removes responsibility from them. Miriam has said it. And there is a very fine line between being a hero to save the addict and being a victim to their manipulation. And mothers are always the last to know. So, the enabler has good intentions and believes their actions are beneficial. And the addict knows this. Addicts are ruled by dishonest thinking. You know what? They think ahead. Let me tell you of a pattern. My son would say, Mom, I need what? Job interview. No, not on the phone. He comes. I need, let me see, I'm going to the interview. It's going to cost me 150 when you give him. No, 250. No, 500. You know. Very manipulative. One other way is when they call you and you say, okay, how much can I send? You send the money. Immediately the phone goes off. So you can't check, you see. Now, an enabler is others focused. You always think of others, but the addict is selfish. Their motto is just one more time. For this instant gratification, and then the enabler feels responsible for the addict. But now, these children, the addicts, they will punish you with their presence. It's like they are saying, if you want me to stay home with you and not use, you are going to pay for it. Remember, you want to save them. No. We ended up locking our son in the room, but we paid for it. The relationship is that of control. The enabler's self-worth is tied to the addict's opinion of them. Particularly with us in our communities, when my child does something wrong, the first thing is, oh, what are they going to say about me? It's not about you. It's the child that is sick. Now, the addict will say, hey, I'm a loser, ne mama. Immediately, it means I'm a horrible parent. He's got me. You'll go, okay, I'm giving you the last one. It's the last time I'm giving you this. Here's one. Now, the cycle will go on and on and on. The enabler ends up tiptoeing around the child in order to please him, to avoid them because they will blow out, they will go and kill themselves, etc., etc. Then there'll be long periods of remorse and guilt until next time when they strike again. And at that time, the enabler is not aware that it's just survival around the addict until they strike again. But let's agree, this relationship is very toxic. Both mother or enabler and the addict, both of them are sick. Miriam said it. Both of you are sick because the addicted person can't stay sick without the enabler. And the enabler can't stay sick without the addicted person. They are both sick. So what's natural to follow? Break up the dysfunctional relationship. it's very crucial because you have to unhook from each other and reach outside the family system for individual help. They need help, you need help, and there is help out there. With these people sitting here, there is help out there, and knowledge is power. And the word of God says, people perish because of lack of knowledge. The choice is yours. Who are the enablers? I know mothers have been blamed a lot, but fellow addicts, they even have their language. Ne? I could be walking with my son, they'll say a few things with whoever, how all of a sudden he's not here, gone. They identify each other. I don't care how full the room is. Now, they are found in schools, in the society, and everywhere. Family members, without realizing it, we encourage their behavior. How do we encourage it? We keep secrets. My daughter said, when we went, Miriam, she said, I am leaving, but my siblings must never know. Why? No, they must never know. It's shameful, it's whatever. And we bought it until sometime I said, aye. If we hope for them to help her in future, how do we keep this away from them? But we are very secretive people. We pay their debts, like she said. After they buy the drugs, I used to get calls. Most of them were lies. Mom, they're about to kill me. Mom, okay? But that money will go out somehow. We accept the phone calls. I don't know how many times I fought with my husband. Claudine, switch that phone off when you sleep. And genuinely I would say, not when not one of my children is not in the house. How do you sleep as a mother? Your child is not in the house, one of them is not in the house, and you go and switch the phone off. So that made us fight. And then paying bail money, like you say. Other enablers are these medical practitioners. I counsel students. It's a cycle because it's the drug this side, but the doctor will give them something to keep them up, not something to get them out. Now, you find that the enabler does something unknowingly. I'll just mention them. You don't know that you are enabling. You think you are helping. Rescuing from trouble that they have brought to themselves, paying their debts, as we have said, lending them money, and you know that they are not going to pay back. But you still lend them money. Making excuses for their irresponsible behaviors. You know, the temper, the line that the students use when they come to me, hey, ma'am, I just found out that this man that I thought was my father is actually my stepfather. Oh, okay, so what does that have to do with everything? Hi, ma'am, it's because I'm in trouble, you know. Okay, how many tests did you pass? None. Do you hear the manipulation? They come to say I'm in trouble, but they don't mention the real thing at that time. They find a way of blaming you. In a way, when you are guilty, you are going to give in much easier. Now, we justify and rationalize on the things that they are doing, and then they fight. No, you must understand he's going through something. We do it. But we deny this addiction to ourselves. It's not easy. We'd rather pretend that the drug use is not as bad as it is. People, even just trying is bad enough because it never gets better, it gets worse. and you lie to others about the drug use, you take over responsibilities. We are bringing up grandchildren. Their mothers are sessional parents. Imagine I'm having to wake up to make a bottle because the mother is nowhere. That's enabling. Because when your child is face to face with their child who doesn't know where one shoe is and school's opened on Tuesday, if I go to look for that shoe, I'm saying to my child, go on, I will pick up from you. So we are enabling without knowing. We clean the house up before the relatives or visitors come. That's enabling. The little ones, don't we finish their school projects? Their homework? Now it's you finishing it up because for some reason they are so tired. But that's what we are faced with every day. And we don't realize that we are saying to our children, go on, Wena. Go on, it's okay. Now, the big one, giving the addict one more chance. Again and again and again. That's the lying Miriam. When the child says, my mother is a liar. This time I say, I will never do it. You go on and do it again. That's a lie. Now, what about lowering your standards for acceptable behavior in the home? We've got standards in our home, but because we are staying with this person, we are chilled. For peace sake, you find a bottle of alcohol, we don't drink. Where do we think it comes from? Why not raise hell? Whose is this? Where does it come from? The next time I find it, you are out in the streets. No, we don't do that. We lower our standards. We find rappers in their rooms, the purple rapper. They've got their names. I have found them. For a long time, I'm like, no, maybe it's not like. You know that? And then we avoid discussing the addict's drug use because you are afraid of their response. You end up being afraid of your own children. Now, what are the effects? Miriam has touched on those. The whole family becomes the victim of the addiction. The whole family, people. Everyone is affected with the addiction. With the addict, the center of attention. You hear an innocent knock, you think police. Last year, early, a friend came to my house. No, I had this money to go and pay lights. Your son came and said, you are out of town, they don't have food. And I gave him my last money, I've come to get the money. Now, it's the owner of the money, it's my husband. It's me. What do I do? This woman's electricity is going to be turned off. I know my son doesn't have a cent. What must happen? What must happen? So I say to my husband, okay, I have money. He said, no, you are not going to pay that. I say, I do understand, but this woman's lights. Let's prioritize now. What do we do? And that was World War III. But it had to be done because the woman is here, the debt hasn't been paid, the person who took the money is not here, I'm here, I've got the money. You know what this woman said ultimately when she left? I wish that someone can stab him on the spinal cord and he never walks again, ever in his life. Wow. Wow. Do you understand? They make enemies wherever they go. Sometimes you greet a person, they look at you funny. You don't know. Maybe your child has robbed them in one way or the other. But truth be told, the family now lives in a crisis mode. You hide things. You are short of hugging your bag when you sleep. Because should he come into the house, into your bedroom, to ask a flimsy thing, they've already identified something. That's not normal. This house is mine. I must be free. Why am I hiding things now? This is my house. But that's a family in a crisis mode. You spend time worrying about their whereabouts when they are not home. But when they are in the house, you worry about the thefts. That's not normal. And then they cause division in the family. They play you as a family. Fathers say mothers are too soft. Mothers say fathers are cruel. Other children say you are enabling. Yes, because he's the favorite. Do you understand? That's what happens. When they are in jail, the parental instinct is one to get them out as soon as possible. And you find you have to connive with the child. Do I go? Don't I go? Do I go to the bail hearing? What do I do? And the husband is like, watch. Because they know that you spoil the child. Now, whether we like it or not, addiction is a stigma. We don't really admit that our loved one is an addict. The guilt makes us to want to fix the problem before it is known. Because it brings the family fear and shame. And families continue to live in denial, jumping in to help so the situation doesn't look so bad. And we live a lie. We take responsibility for things we don't know. I suppose today, let's take responsibility for enabling. And the family dynamics get skewed. You no longer know who is father, who is mother, who is son, particularly when they are older. Because here's what happened. Those that are well functioning, over-function. The under-functioning one, the addict, under-functions. They're just there, a bag of potatoes. The other children are rallying around them, making their bed. Whatever. They continue to under-function. Let me tell you about my students' cries. A boy comes to my office, ma'am, look. It's a cell phone. Marulelo afufile. The roof has been blown away by the wind. So I say, who's this? My mom. What's happening? They expect me to come and fix. When you look at the family dynamics, drug addiction, the father, the oldest brother, time and again, there are these fights between mother and father. This child is getting a stipend. They're a student. They are waiting for the stipend and they drink it. That's what's happening in our families. So the responsible person is the one that gets the flack. Because when you are responsible, you say, there's no food. The other people are chilling. So dynamics get skewed. You no longer know who is father, who is mother. The one that broke my heart to pieces was this saying, ma'am, I'm failing. I organized rest for him. No, I can't stay in rest. My mother has a boyfriend. They are both on drugs. I'm afraid this man is going to rape my 3-year-old sister. I would rather travel. Do you know where that child is traveling from? Johannesburg to Randfontein every day. So he has become the father, the mother, the everything. He has to go, make sure the little one has lunchbox, make sure she has clean clothes, and he's a boy. Do you see what drug addiction does, people? Everybody gets affected. Now, he says, I'm expected to look after my mother and her boyfriend. Unfortunately, he got terminated for absenteeism, but that man is in hospital. I'm crossing my fingers. I think he assaulted him, the mother's boyfriend. Now, unbeknown to the mothers, they are mostly the main enablers because of their nurturing nature, as I've explained. Most times, most of the family members don't involve themselves because mom is there. When there's a crisis, the enabler gets all the blame for spoiling the addict, for giving them food, etc. I commend you, Miriam, for not giving them food. I can't get used to that. Up to now, I cannot give food. Ne? And then for opening the door for them. Unfortunately, listen, here's a home. You are the enabler. Ne? It doesn't mean there are no other sympathizers. But these very sympathizers, they hide behind the enabler so they can also have someone to blame when things go wrong. So when no steri, the enabler, everybody blames you. But in conclusion, there's a difference between enabling and helping. When you help, my efforts help the addict to confront the situation. But when I enable, my efforts remove the natural consequences of the addict's behavior.